Peace, 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 peace,
Peace,
peace,
family.
peace. This is Ashu Sola, the Enchantress,
Sifakunle.
my amazing husband, from the Enchanted Life. Hey.
Yes.
And we're just going to give everybody a few minutes to come on, hang out with us,
Just for a little while.
just for a little while. Today we are getting amped up to do the healing series that has been promised for the month of November. Peace, Neb.
Yeah.
Peace,
That's Neb.
Key.
Yeah.
Yes, Key Nicole. Peace, y'all. We are gearing up to do the healing series that was promised for the month of November. So, moving forward, probably like once a week, we will be coming on to share some insights that we have gained over the process of the last, well, I'm going to say life experience.
Yes.
First and foremost, but things that have come up that we wanted to talk about.
Yes.
Yes. So, so today's healing series, we are speaking about healing through shadow work. Healing through shadow work. Peace, y'all. Peace. So, healing through shadow work. So, what we do know is that the last couple months have been pretty tumultuous for us all. We have been dealing with a Mars retrograde in conjunction with a Mercury retrograde. So with the Mars retrograde, we saw a lot of selfhood in relation to all the nouns, people, places, and things. And then in the midst of that, we got hit with Mercury retrograde, which means miscommunications, redos, reorganization, things of that nature. So during the last several months, we together, as well as our students and our clients, a lot of the feedback that we've been getting is about how hard working through these shadows were.
Yeah. It's definitely not for the weak at heart, like the different ways that we get challenged in this life. But one thing I know, one thing that we have come to learn, these things, even though they come as challenges, they be ways for us to grow. They be ways for us to evolve and expand and have a deeper connection with life, with the universe, from the way that the universe reveals itself to us, going through these things,
Yes.
on these journeys. I can't explain, and we have faced some challenging times, me and Oshu and Tola, but one thing that has always been consistent through these challenges is the way that our elevated ancestors reveal themselves to us, or the things that we tune into or tap into, or the insights that are poured out of these experiences that ultimately strengthen us.
Yes.
Strengthen us.
Absolutely. So, when we're dealing with shadow work, we're talking about our triggers, right? We're talking about those things that trigger us, that we want to hide away within ourselves, about ourselves. We are talking about people, places, things that bring up certain characteristics within us that cause us to be in flight or fight responses. You know what I'm saying? A lot of energy lately has been on that vibration of fight and flight, And so when these triggers come up, one of the things we are challenged to do is face the triggers. Face them for ourselves, be aware of them for ourselves, and then find ways to be able to heal from them.
Yeah.
Heal from them. Because ultimately, when we're talking about shadow work, what we're talking about are things that we perceive about ourselves to be weaknesses. But in actuality, when we are able to address them, then we're talking about things that become strengths.
Yes.
So there's a time and a place for everything. This is not about suppressing it. A lot of times what we're seeing in society is the suppression of our shadows. The things we don't want anybody to know about or see within us. We try to suppress those things. And that's kind of the programming in society to suppress those things that we don't want to, so that we don't have to address them.
But what we need to understand is these things ain't never going to go anywhere. They're never going to go anywhere.
Never.
We're always going to find ourselves having to face the same kind of challenges, even if it looks a little different. They're not going to go anywhere. These are things that we have to face in our life because of the healing that comes from it.
Yes.
The strength that comes from it, the awakening that comes from it, that we experience when we face these things. Like, they're not gonna go nowhere. Like, this is all tied into the reasons why we are here, like purposes and destinies. Those things that we come to heal about ourselves in this lifetime, things that we come to get right, generational traumas that we come to face and overcome, like, in this lifetime. Like, they're never going anywhere. But it's for us to learn to embrace these things. Excuses, y'all. Like, whenever we're able to embrace these things and face these things head on and take on that challenge, you know what I'm saying? Understanding that, okay, like, this ain't going nowhere. Like, let me go ahead on and stand up. Let me go ahead and face this. And then when we get to the other side of it, we can look back and see the healing that came from it.
Yes.
That was needed in our lifetime to strengthen us, to elevate us, to educate us, to make us wiser.
Yes.
And so these things are not going anywhere.
And then a lot of times also too, when we are hit with our triggers, what we find ourselves doing is pulling ourselves back, putting ourselves in isolation, feeling like we're the only ones that are being triggered in this way. And a lot of times, especially during this period of time, the last couple months, we were all triggered. You know, we were all having to face our own shadows and go through our own shadow work. But a lot of times we'll put ourselves in isolation, and that can even lead to depression because we feel like we're the only ones that are going through this. And so it is not to say that it's for us to be out here and spilling our guts about all the things that, you know, we want to keep hidden. That's not necessarily it, but understanding that you're not alone in this path. And so
this is life.
This is life.
Like, this is life. Like, this is why we're here. Like, Earth is a cosmic school. Like, we're here to learn these lessons that we have to learn, because we're here. We are all seeking elevation. We are all seeking to be elevated. We are all seeking to ascend to what's next, like what the next experience is. But we don't get to those next experiences until we face those things that are in front of us now, till we go through and experience those things that we have to experience in this moment. This is how we elevate.
Yes.
This is how we elevate. So even though they come as challenges or like things that might be adversities, like, they come to us in this type of way, but these are ways for us to face our own selves, because that's all it ever is. Like, that's all that it ever is.
And
life is a reflection. Family.
Yes, and understanding like certain cycles, certain patterns continue to play out in our lives because we have not learned the lesson from those cycles yet. And so, you know, we can't just skip a grade.
Nobody's
you know what I'm saying?
Exempt either.
We can't skip a grade. We can't just brush over it and think we're going to move up to the next level. We have to be able to address those things within ourselves and learn those lessons so we can continue to move forward.
Or else we're just going to find ourselves right back face to face with it. It might look a little different, but life is cyclical. Like, what goes around comes around. You know what I'm saying? So we ain't gonna get away from it. Like, we were always gonna find ourselves right back facing that which we didn't overcome in a previous cycle until we're able to elevate it, overcome it, and elevate it and have higher experiences. This is what this is about, putting ourselves in to where we can have higher and higher experiences, to where we're not experiencing the same thing over and over again, wondering why we always find ourselves in a certain situation, where the reason why we always find ourselves in a certain situation or a certain position is because of the things that we didn't overcome when we face these things, and now they're back again.
We haven't broken the cycle. Again. And a lot of times you don't know when you broke that cycle by how the next experience, it don't have to be the very next experience, but the next experience comes and tries to trigger you in the same way, but you approach it differently. And that's a lot of what we have been experiencing in this cycle, the difference between how we have handled certain experiences in the past versus the way it was being handled in this circumstance.
You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
And so one of the things that has helped us in being able to overcome these challenges and learn these lessons is called the etheric touch. The etheric touch gives us the tools to be able to handle these adversities and ground us in ourselves as we move through the experiences.
And this is one thing that we have to have. Like, we have to have tools. Why do we have to have tools? Because we're building ourselves. We're building our reality. Like, we have to have those things that we are working with. Like, how are you going to build something that you don't got anything to work with as it relates to what you were trying to build.
And so, and a lot of times when we're talking about shadows, we're trying to convince ourselves. We're trying to convince ourselves through our minds that this is not really what's going on, or it's just a period of time, or we're trying to. It's this self-talk that is happening, but we're not aware of what tools are needed and able to. In order to be able to navigate these experiences, the etheric touch gives us those tools. When we're in shadow work periods of time and trying to learn these hard lessons, where salt is being poured onto the wounds of our, of our hearts and our minds, our spirits,
our traumas.
Our traumas are coming up. The tools of the etheric touch. Breath work, meditation, sound harmonics, qigong, being able to take these energies within ourselves and love on ourselves, self-love. Being gentle with ourselves during these times, help to be able to navigate through, keeping you kind of more grounded in the experience instead of feeling like you're in a whirlwind and there's nothing that you can do.
And so it has a lot to do with awareness. Like a lot of us are not even aware of our purpose of being here.
Yes.
Like, the reason why we are challenged in the ways that we are being challenged in, like a lot of us are lacking knowledge of ourselves. In the healing journey that we are all on, the awakening that we are all here to experience, like it's a purpose for us being on this planet. Like we're not just here just to, like, you know what I mean, like out of nowhere for no reason. Like this right here is purposeful. This is destiny. Like we exist. We are here. We have to deal with that. Yes. Like we have to come into the knowledge of ourselves, and how else can we come into the knowledge of our true self if we're not challenged in certain ways that causes us to dig deep within ourselves, to tap into that core reality of who it is that we truly are, beyond the illusions of things that we have been told, or the names that we have been given, or the things that we have been through. Like it creates this personality, this false self of who we begin to truly believe that we are, which in most cases be false. And so like these challenges, these adversities that we face, these shadows that we have to go into, it's all to reveal to us more of who it is that we truly are.
And also understanding too, like,
which is what life is about.
While we were growing up, we were not taught how to take care of ourselves properly. What we were taught is how to take care of everyone else first, but we were not taught to take care of ourselves. We are usually the last people on our agenda and our priority list to be taken care of, when in actuality that's backwards, and we're supposed to be taking care of ourselves first. We are the most important people in our lives. And from taking care of yourself first, then you're able to share the love that you've generated within yourself with others. The self-care component of the etheric touch teaches that. Go ahead.
Okay, now I just wanted to add on, like, and we are like speaking from like personal experiences, like the things that, let's just deal with this year, like that we have experienced in this year, like the challenges that we have faced in this year, and our own personal life and our own personal journey, and the fact that we didn't run from them. The fact that we
couldn't run in a lot of
run from them. The fact that we embraced it. The fact that we
we couldn't run because
walk through it, you know what I mean, to see what was on the other side of those things that we were experiencing, like what that tapped us into. Like the revelations that came from that, like the way that the universe, our elevated ancestors, revealed themselves or itself to us. Like it's been magical, it's been enchanted. So even though like these were challenges, like it was beautiful though. It was beautiful.
COVID has put us all in a situation where we have had to isolate ourselves from each other for a very substantial amount of time. Then when we were able to come out to be with each other, we had to cover ourselves, mask ourselves in the process. And then now with this retrograde period that we have, this Mars Mercury retrograde that we've experienced, it was like the blocks. The bricks was even heavier on our shoulders because we had already been through so much. One of the things that I want to let you all I came on here today to make sure you understood is how to find the enchantment in these situations. A lot of times when we're in dark places, we can't see the magic, but the magic is still there. And how do we know that the magic is still there? The magic is still there because our ancestors live. Our ancestors live. That's the second component, the ancestral medicine component of the etheric touch. Our ancestors live within us, and we activate their energies within us to keep us moving forward. When we are talking about working with the spiritual work, when we're talking about working with our ancestors, what we're saying is that we understand that they make ways out of no ways. We understand that the universe continues to conspire on our behalf even when we're in our feelings. One of the biggest lessons that we've gained over the course of the last 2 months is how even in the most tumultuous times, the ancestors, the universe show up and conspire to show the magic of what is going on.
Yeah, it's like that reward.
Sometimes it's in the midst of the tumultuousness that they will give you a vision or some clarification as to what you're going through to confirm what you're feeling. You know, and a lot of times that's beneficial because sometimes we think that we're going crazy or we're in our own mind, but the ancestors come through to give you a vision or some kind of a sign, synchronicity, insight to keep going to show you what is actually going on in order for you to be able to navigate it.
Yes, because we got to keep moving forward. Like anything that we face in our life that keeps us from moving forward, it's a blockage. It prevents us from reaching what we are destined to reach. Like it prevents us from fulfilling our purposes. It prevents us from growing and blossoming and blooming and bearing our fruit. Like anything that presents itself in front of us that we can't make it through. Like these things stops us. It stunts our growth. But what we're talking about is that we are already pre-programmed with everything that we need inside of us to make it through anything that we have to face on our journey. And the things that we face on our journey are designed to tap us into the things that are inside of us. That awakens that knowing that we can make it through anything. That taps us into the power, into the strength that's needed to face whatever it is that we have to face on our journey towards our destiny. And that's the most important thing about being here on this planet, is the fulfilling of our destiny. And nothing is more powerful to stop that. Like nothing is more powerful than who it is that we are. What's inside of us. The Spirit of God that's in us, the ancestors, the DNA, all of that dwells within us, that's waiting to be unlocked. And the way that these things are unlocked is through the things that we go through and face.
Yes.
And so...
Absolutely. And one of the things that, you know, our community will say is, you know, think positive thoughts, you know, keep that love and light vibration, which I'm not against love and light vibration. When you can be in love and light, you should be. But that's not to say or negate the fact that we still have to go into dark spaces.
Sometimes we have to shed those tears.
You know what I'm saying? We still have to go into dark spaces.
Breakdowns.
We can't rise up if we're not willing to walk through the dark. We can't, you know, you have to walk through the dark in order to be able to illuminate. Illuminate it.
And sometimes you got to destroy before you can rebuild.
Correct.
And like these are the things that we have to understand. It's not always going to feel good. It's not even designed to always feel good.
That's not what we're here in this dimension for.
You know what I'm saying? And so, but it's the feelings that, these deep, impactful feelings that we experience when we go through certain things. Like these things are designed to tap it so we can tap into ourselves in a deep way. And like from a deep perspective, not just going through all the ways dealing with something shallow, that no real change is made in your life. But when you go through those things that cause you to feel things deeply, guess what? That's where the healing is going to take place here, deeply in you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So this is what it's really about, those deep changes that we need to make in our life. And those hidden spaces inside of us that, when we go through things that make us feel deeply in that way, it taps us into things that we don't even know that's there. And like in a lot of cases, it awakens things.
One of the things I did also want to mention that just came to me as he was speaking was the necessity. Like a lot of times when we are in these dark spaces, we neglect our spiritual work. We neglect going to our altars. We neglect calling on our ancestors. We neglect those things because we're in these dark spaces, right? But and a lot of times the reason why we do those things is because we feel like we have been programmed to feel as if we have to be purified and able to stand in the presence of them. And that's not the case. Like, you go to your ancestors for everything. Come as you are. Absolutely. Like, you come for them for everything. You don't have, it's not a preachy type of thing. There's nothing wrong with preachy. But it's not necessarily a preachy type of thing. You go to your ancestors like you go to grandma. Sometimes, you know you're going to be respectful, but sometimes when you're mad, grandma understands that you're mad and wants to help you move through that anger. Grandma understands when you're sad and wants to help you to move through that sadness. The same thing applies to your ancestors. So you can go to them and speak to them as if they were here, as if they were living. And that's one of the things that a lot of times when we're in our dark spaces, we neglect to do. But it's during those times when you're in those spaces that it's the most powerful to go talk to them with. And because that is pushing the intention, the energy out for things to shift, for things to transform.
And this is what illuminates those dark places.
Yes.
Like we have to be able to go in these dark spaces of ourselves and life and the things that we experience and illuminate them. And this is what the knowledge of self comes in. Like this is where we have to hold ourselves accountable from the tools and things that we utilize when we find ourselves in certain spaces that allows us to keep moving and not giving up to where the darkness consumes you, but you are able to go inside of this darkness and illuminate it. But we have to, that's where we are self-accountable, because how the Bible, like, study to show thyself approved. Like, we have our own personal responsibility. Like, we can't just sit around and expect things to be a certain type of way if we're not putting that work in. Like, we can't expect to navigate through situations that we're not preparing ourselves for. Like, we have to study to show ourselves approved. Like, we have to do the work that's required that strengthens us and prepares us for the situations that life may bring our way.
Absolutely.
It's the same kind of way when you go hit the gym, or the reason why you eating food, like healthy food, to be healthy, to prevent certain things from happening, or just having the knowledge if certain things happen, how to take care of those things in a natural way. It's the same thing. Like, we have to prepare ourselves.
And understanding too the stagnation that can come from everything staying the same. Anytime you're experiencing a challenge, an obstacle, an adversity, it's challenging you to grow in some way. It's challenging us to grow in some way. And I can say for myself, the past several months, I understand more fully why I encountered a lot of the things that I've encountered in the past, because it prepared me for this moment. It prepared me to be able to walk through it. And I'm not going to be here and act like it was all, rainbows and glitter and shit, because it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? But I was able to navigate it in a different energy than I was previously in my life. And I actually had to sit back and look at myself and be like, yo, like, that's growth.
And it makes you aware of more of what your power is.
Correct.
And how things can truly be handled without going crazy, without having to break all the way down, without losing it, without falling into a depression, because it makes you more aware of your capabilities.
Yes.
Like, this is what this is about. Like, the more that we go through, the more adversities that we face, the more challenges that we overcome, it strengthens you. It empowers you.
It's empowering.
It empowers you.
Yes.
And so this is how we have to look at these things, because we are literally growing ourselves from one level to another level.
Yes.
But how can we reach the next level if we're not facing this level?
Correct.
And so we have to face this level that we're at. We can't run from it, because to run from the things that we face or to run from is running from ourselves.
Yes.
So these are the things that we have to face. A lot of times they come in challenges, but you got to look at this as a way that you're going to empower yourself.
A lot of times when you're uncomfortable, it's causing you to do something to get out of your uncomfortability. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we're so comfortable that we're not willing to make the necessary changes that need to be made in our lives in order for us to elevate to the next level. But when we're uncomfortable, it's putting us in such a tumultuous type of situation that we have no other choice but to have to change something within ourselves in order for us to face. So a lot of times, the ego will keep us in a place of comfortability. That's what the ego is here for. Things come, we're like, oh, hell no, we're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? That's the ego. That's what the ego is here for, to keep you comfortable. But in actuality, it's in the uncomfortable spaces that are propelling you towards your growth. And so,
that realm that is new for you.
That realm that is new for you. That rebirth.
That realm that is new for you. You know what I mean? Versus just being, like Oshu and Tola was saying, like, in that comfortable zone, like, okay, I'm good right here. But that's not true. You know what I'm saying? Because life is always going to be about growth and development continuously.
Just think about when a woman is pregnant and she's in labor, right? The pressures of labor. I don't like to say pain, because that's really something that you use your mind to overcome in some cases. In some cases, but the majority of women have a lot of pressure in labor and have to go to an unbelievably strong place within themselves to be able to push that baby through the birth canal and give birth. But the amazing thing about labor is that once the baby is here, the mother forgets about how bad that pain is. Like they remember there might have been pain, but they can't remember the extent of the pain, and this is what allows women to continue to give birth to multiple children.
True indeed.
And so it's in that uncomfortability, those labor pains, that something beautiful is created. You know? And so one of the things that we have been really in awe of in the midst of the challenges of the retrograde that we've experienced in the shadows is how the universe continues to conspire on our behalf. How the universe continues to influence through magical, enchanted experiences that you are not alone. You are not walking this path by yourself. We stand with you. We support you. Stop being carried away with the illusion and focus on what reality is.
And that's the whole key. Like, because this world is designed to keep us lost and the illusion, following that, like what they call the world or this society. Like a lot of us, that has our attention. And like, but what we know is like when we put our attention into what it's supposed to be, our attention to what it's supposed to be, like this reality that we truly exist on, this kingdom that we are truly a part of, like this spirit that we all share in, like this magic of existence, this mystery of how did we get here, and then going on that journey. For those questions to be answered, they're going to be answered in a very mystical, magical, enchanted way, divine way. That's going to illuminate you in ways that we can't even explain right now.
Correct.
But we just have the experience of it. But we can't even put it into words because our attention is in the right place. Our experiences that we are seeking are not worldly experiences, but godly or goddess, whatever word that you want to use, experiences. And so we go out in search of this, like we stay in tune with what this reality is doing, like this creation of spirit is doing. Like we're seeking to understand and know more of ourselves so we can awaken more and more and expand our consciousness, our level of consciousness of who it is that we truly are. Like, and it's magical, it's mystical, it's godly.
So many times we get so carried away in our shadows and our triggers that we forget about what is really going on in reality. We get disillusioned. We get carried away. Like this election was one of the biggest distractions, illusions that I could have even, it was one of the biggest distractions of 2020.
Everything.
You know what I'm saying? Because we're so focused on the outcome of this that we're forgetting our spiritual work, and we're forgetting our ancestors, and we're forgetting how the universe is continuously conspiring. Do you remember back when COVID first hit and everybody was in their homes, how the earth started to heal? Do you remember how the animals started to come from out of the forest back into civilization because we were not there? Like, the universe is continuing to do what the universe is doing. It's conspiring on our behalf. Magic exists. So, life is magical. We have to keep our focus on that.
And so, like, a lot of people a lot of us are caught up on the election, but like what I would say is like, wait and see how powerful this winter solstice is getting ready to be.
That winter solstice, though.
Wait and see how powerful this winter solstice is getting ready to be. And this is what I mean. Like, this is where our consciousness needs to be at. Like, what this universe is doing. How, you know what I mean? It's revealing itself to us more and more. The veil is extremely thin.
Yes.
But our attention is not in the right place.
Right.
So we are missing out on a lot. Like, we're missing out on a lot that will heal our souls, that will heal our spirits, that will heal our very life. And so we are missing out on these things because of distraction, but this is done intentionally.
Yes. As much energy as we all have participated in with these elections now need to be refocused on ourselves and on the winter solstice. This new beginning. These seeds are being planted. New beginning. Understanding the seeds are being planted. So one of the reasons that we want to come on today is to address the wounds. to address the salt that has been in these wounds, these open wounds that we have just endured, and let you know that it's time to go ahead and heal the wounds.
Yes.
It's time to go ahead and put the salve on, lick them, however you want to do it, but it's time for you to start the process of healing yourself.
Yes.
If you have neglected your spiritual work, it's time to get into your spiritual work. If you do not have a spiritual foundation, it's time for you to find a mentor. It's time for you to choose a path. It's time for you to get a guide. It's time for you to understand. Don't get lost in the illusion and miss the magic of life.
No, and then to be there to help guide others. Like, it's time for us to show and prove who it is that we are here. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is why we're here. Like, we're so lost in what the matrix or with this society, this system, like, we're lost in it. Like, so many of us are lost in it. Like, we have lost the reason on why we are truly here. Like, we are here with this universe family. Period. We are here with this spirit of life. Like these are the questions that we supposed to be asking ourselves. This is the journey that we supposed to be on. Like, yo, I'm one with all of this.
I'm one with it,
Like, get the knowledge of yourself. Get the knowledge of that which composes you, like that which has manifested you. Like, the mystery of that. Going on that journey. This is why we are born with a curious mind. Like, these are the questions that we're supposed to be answering. The questions of who it is that we are. Our ancestors call it knowledge of self. Man, know thyself, then you shall know God in the universe. So this is where our attention is supposed to be. Like, we can't allow them to suck our energy, our life force away from us, depleting us.
So many times we can't see beyond our own faces. Like, all we can see is what's happening in society. When in actuality, our planet is moving through a solar system right now, which is moving through a Milky Way right now, which is moving through a galaxy right now, which is moving through the universe right now. Like, we are part of that. We are looking for extraterrestrials, but you are the extraterrestrial. You are.
Already.
You are. The fact that we're moving through the solar system right now makes you an extraterrestrial. So it's not for you to be looking outside of yourself for anything. It's about going within yourself.
It's about awakening
to understand
to who it is that we already are, family.
To who it is you already are, the power you already hold within yourself, and cultivating that.
Come on, tapping into that, revealing, allowing more of that to be revealed to you.
Yes.
Allowing the creatress of all things to reveal more of itself to you, this universe around you, nature around you. This is a mystical, magical kingdom.
I'm telling you.
Period.
I'm telling you.
And so the more that we go out seeking that, the more that we knock on the door of that, it's going to be answered.
Yes.
We're going to seek, and then we're going to find.
Yes.
But we're seeking the wrong things in life. Like, we're seeking the wrong things about who it is that we truly are. But when we align ourselves with the knowledge of who it is that we are, and we go on that journey seeking that, oh my God.
On the path to our destiny.
Oh my God.
Y'all, let me
the universe will answer you.
When I tell y'all, so, if you know anything about Conjure and I, you know we are always looking to interact with the universe, with spirit, with the ancestors. This is constant with us. You know what I'm saying? Our adventures.
Yes.
And so, last night we went out on one of our adventures. By the time the night had ended, my mind was so blown that I was literally screaming at the top of my lungs, I love this shit. I love this shit. I love to be a vessel for this universe. I love to be a part of this. I love knowing who I am. I know knowing my own personal power.
When we tell you, and we can't even get into it. But family,
it be inexplicable experiences that happen, but trust and believe that the universe is going to conspire.
When we tell you,
it's
family,
going to.
This is a mystical, magical, enchanted wonderland reality. Period. Look for the unicorns. Look for the fairies. Look for the elves. Look for the trees to look for all of that. Look for all of that.
Don't limit your mind.
We have been dumbed down. We have been dumbed down to the reality of who it is we truly are and what we truly exist. That it's time to take the wool off of our eyes.
Yes.
The wool off of our eyes.
See beyond the veil.
See beyond the veil now. It's thin. It's thin. And like, we're in such an energy right now because of just the experience that Oshun told us talking about that we had last night. I wish so much I can just share it with y'all. But who's gonna believe it? I know, like, but who's gonna believe it?
Y'all never believe this one.
I'm not gonna say you never will.
If
You know what I mean?
you
but some things are just hard to put into words when you're trying to explain
right.
it. We don't want to make ourselves look crazy by trying to explain it.
It's more like some things
Come
are just
on,
for
man.
you.
Them
The
some
ancestors
things are just for
reveal
you.
themselves in ways that sometimes are just for you. It's
Come
on. It's
on,
for your
family.
own knowledge. It's for your own healing. It's for
I'm
your
telling
own
you.
empowerment. It's for you.
And it also shows you where you're at on your journey. Because when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, and it's not always in human form. The universe will appear to you in certain kind of experiences that you find yourself having.
Telling you,
I'm telling you.
it's true.
When the student is ready, the teacher
will appear.
appears. And so now we're looking for our teacher
Cosmic
goes
teacher.
that cosmic teacher.
Mm-hmm.
That's who we
The
are
universe.
seeking now. You know what I mean? Like we go out on these adventures, seeking with anticipation. And then the universe always shows
Every
up.
time.
It always shows up. Okay, y'all seeking? Check this out. Now, we feel like y'all ready for this? Here y'all go. Okay, y'all ready for this now? Here y'all go. Every time.
I'm telling you.
Every time.
And
Yo.
so one of the things that, you know, our goal is here at the Enchanted Life, here with the etheric touch. When we say the etheric touch is the medicine, it gives you the tools that are needed in order to interact, to know yourself, to grow yourself, and to interact.
To free yourself.
To free yourself, to interact with this universe.
I'm telling
When we talk
you,
about the Enchanted
we are
Life is
this
the way,
universe.
what we're saying is that life is real. Do not be so caught up in the illusion
I'm
that you miss
telling
life
you,
going
don't
on
do that.
around
Don't
you.
be no lost soul, family.
The Enchanted
Don't be no
Life
lost
is
soul.
real,
It's
you know?
real.
And so with the tools of the etheric touch, which is the medicine, you take your medicine and the universe conspires to show up on your behalf.
I'm telling you, and reveal things to you.
But one of the things that we don't understand is that there's
yo,
work
yo,
that it
yo,
takes.
yo,
like
it's
you have
work.
to you have to do
Yes.
the work. You
Yes.
have to do the work. You have to do the work.
You got to have the faith, too.
You have to be able
All
to
of that.
take the lessons, understand the challenges, take the lessons, grow from those lessons.
True indeed.
You know what I'm saying?
And
Be
then-
aware,
and
stay in
then-
your awareness.
Yes, and then as your consciousness expands, the more that you become aware of about yourself, about this world around you, the more that it reveals itself to
It
you because
will.
your consciousness is expanding.
It
And we have to
will.
understand that that's all life is consciousness. So if you're not prepared to be conscious of a certain reality, then you're not there yet. But when you are there, like the universe is always going to show up for you step for step. Okay, you ready for this? You done put that work on? Boom. Your consciousness expands of this reality of yourself, of all things.
Mhm.
This is how it works.
Mhm.
And so,
It's just it's a magical, mystical, magical wonderland that we live in. It's a mystical, magical wonderland that we live in, and we have access
Yes.
to it. When we was talking
We
about
are it.
being part of this paradigm shift, is understanding what the illusion is and
Mm-hmm.
keeping our awareness on reality,
Mhm.
not letting ourselves be drawn away with what is not real,
I'm
but
telling
being
you.
focused on that which is.
Reality.
You know what I'm saying?
To be conscious.
To understand.
To not be asleep.
The enlightenment, the awakening.
Eye open.
You know?
Eye open. You know what I'm saying?
So, I mean, we
Yo.
could go on and on.
Yeah.
We could go on and on. But ultimately, our message to you today is despite the shadows, but despite the shadows that you may have encountered in these last couple
The
months,
hardships, the challenges,
the adversities,
it all means something.
it's all for your growth.
Yes.
And make sure that you focus on the reality of the situation, which is nothing but your own inner spirit, your higher self.
And that you have do you have within you what's needed to overcome anything that you are facing?
Correct.
Period.
You already have everything you need. You know what I'm
Period.
saying? Refocus, reorganize, recreate, rebirth into this new reality.
True
so,
indeed.
you know, again, like I said, we are planning to do a few of these videos for the next month, you know, because we want to do our part in helping
Yes.
you all, us all, we
Us all, us.
all to go through this transition, putting salve on the wounds again, helping
Yeah.
us to heal, because
Yeah.
we deserve healing.
Yeah.
You deserve to be gentle with yourself right now, because
Love
truth be
yourself.
told, you made it.
Love yourself.
We're almost out of
You are
that
all
part
special.
of it. You are all
special.
and so
You know
it's
what I'm
so
saying?
important
We all are.
to be gentle with yourself. Take the baby steps,
Yes.
and know that
Keep
everything
moving forward.
is working in your favor.
It's working in your favor. Don't give up. Don't give
The
up.
only failure is giving up.
Do not give up. Keep moving forward. It's
Mhm.
always something new to come for you, a new experience to have. Don't get stuck in anything. Keep moving. Like
Keep
that's the only thing
growing.
that's constant about life is change.
Keep growing.
Keep growing, family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love Thank you all for tuning in with
Love
us
y'all.
today. We love you.
Peace.
Peace.